Donald Trump has been indicted by a grand jury in New York. Trump was under investigation by the DA's office for his alleged hush money payment to adult film star Stormy Daniels during the 2016 campaign. So as we await more information, Fox News has just learned this from two law enforcement sources that Trump has been indicted. Perhaps I can go around the table.
What
Katie,
the
I'll start with
fuck?
you first.
What
the
the fuck?
Said 2 weeks ago that this was going to happen eventually.
Oh shit!
Last Tuesday, the grand jury then did not.
I gotta put a fucking suit on.
And the grand jury was out of town allegedly for a month as of yesterday. So this is quite interesting to hear after they were sent home for the month. Now, leading up to this, there was a lot of talk about whether this would even happen, considering Alvin Bragg, who is the Manhattan district attorney who is looking into bringing these charges, would be able to, just given how long it's been since this incident, and it was allegedly a misdemeanor charge. It's never been happened in the history of the New York Attorney's Office before, and there's been a lot of controversy about whether it was appropriate given the president is a presidential candidate again, and whether it was politically motivated.
Now, does this mean he's going to jail? No, but does this mean it's kind of funny and we're going to have fun with it? Absolutely.
Questions about the district attorney's priorities.
They're so fucking mad, bro. They're mad they got debated by the they're mad they got debated by the grand jury.
Carrying out very violent crimes in the city behind bars.
Hold on, I'll be back in a second.
Now he is focused on President Trump. But here we are with this. The president said it was going to happen. So now there are big questions about how this will go down, whether the president will come to New York to be fingerprinted, to take the charges in person, and what that will look like with Secret Service and NYPD, and whether there will be a mugshot and how that will be handled.
I think that's important to ask at this point, Jesse. We don't exactly know how this will go down, but we do know that the indictment would not be announced until it was stamped. The DA's office would then notify an attorney for the former president that he would then be indicted. At that point, the president is then free to make the information public himself. We are reporting this as we've learned it from two law enforcement officials. We'll see if we hear anything from the former president as the moments go on here. Will he be arrested? Would there be any sort of mugshot taken? Will he appear in court? Those are questions that we do not have answers to at this moment. The DA's office has to now ask Trump's attorney when he plans to come to New York to be arraigned. It doesn't require him to turn himself in, so there's no specific time frame. It could be any minute now. It could be any day, but we'll see. The Fox has spoken with one senior aide and one source close to the House inquiry of Manhattan DA.
The only funny part about this is that, like, it is literally the lowest offense that you could get him on. Like, it's just the lowest offense that you could get him on, which is like campaign finance law mismanagement, which has happened regularly and routinely. Other people have had to pay basically just like a small fine, but I'm still going to enjoy it. I don't give a fuck.
Out of the race if you're indicted. And he said, absolutely not. He predicted then and said it would probably help my numbers. And I think he knows that if people see him in handcuffs, being dragged around, it lends to his argument that the establishment is against him, the deep state is against him. So not a positive, but I think that he knows how to turn it into one as best possible. So now we will wait to see what happens. As you all mentioned, we've got Georgia. We had the four-person in that grand jury out there talking about the fact that she was estimating or predicting several indictments. We've got the ongoing federal investigations, 2 different probes within the Justice Department. So listen, there is nothing illegally that stops a president or anyone who has been indicted from running for the White House, even if convicted. That's not going to stop him either. So I don't expect his campaign to slow down. In the least, if anything, I expect it would rev up. But we're all waiting to see documents to get more information. That may take a while. We'll figure out when the arraignment's going to be. But for now, after what seems like a pause, after some interesting testimony from attorney Robert Costello, who said there are emails you haven't seen to the grand jury, there's more to the story about Michael Cohen, and caution from the left and the right that Michael Cohen may not be the best witness to build this case around, they've moved forward. So an indictment is one thing, a conviction is something totally different.
It's a felony charge for what is otherwise considered a misdemeanor in almost every single circumstance. It's only sister's wedding, Trump indicted. Absolutely, dude. Abso-fucking-lutely. So the interesting component here is literally that, well, one, there's a couple different things we got to talk about. Number one, Donald Trump has done a fuckload of crimes. I believe, according to the Office of Ethics or the Citizens for Ethics Foundation, 53 crimes that he has committed. since he's been in office, right? Or leading up to him running for the presidency. So he's done a lot of crimes. That much is clear. This is probably one of the lower versions of that, like in the lowest of low rungs, because of the nature of the crime itself. It is technically considered in other circumstances a misdemeanor. And for it to be a felony, you need to show intent. And also you need to be able to prove that this was done with prior knowledge that it would be illegal. As far as I understand, you would have to literally also show that you did it specifically to save your campaign. Like, there are a lot of different components here that make this such a weird thing to indict Trump over. But, like, it's still funny. You know what I mean? It's still very funny.
Trey, did Democrats just indict a former president over sex? Because we were told during the 90s that it was just
There
sex.
ain't no way. There ain't no fucking way, dude.
And it had nothing to do with politics,
Yes!
nothing to do with policy. Weren't we told that?
Yes!
And you have to understand, he says he didn't have sex with this woman. She had her hand out, saying, hey, I'm not going to say anything unless you pay me. So either it's a consensual sexual encounter or it's a shakedown. And Democrats want to make that a felony?
I don't understand. Why would it be a fucking shakedown? It's literally just how they have explained the situation. That's what it is.
No longer going to prosecute prostitution was on that list. So it can't be about sex. It is the falsification of a business record, which, look, I'm not in favor of. You shouldn't do it. It's a misdemeanor.
But come on, come on, let him have this. Like that's Fox News defense is literally just come on, let him have it. Yeah, it's a little bit of crime.
Everybody always says, nobody is above the law. No one's above the law. It's so trite, but it feels like no one should be below the law either, and it feels like Trump has been made to be below the law. You don't have to meet any standards.
Yeah, it's so fucked up, dude. If there's one thing, Trump, if there's one thing that's happened to Trump, he's been prosecuted too much. That's what I'm always thinking. That's what I'm always saying. One funny fact about Trump is that they prosecute him too much. They over-prosecute him.
The law. So there are plenty of examples on both sides of our justice system being weaponized. So I would think that this would be something that we universally rejected, but unfortunately, if it's done to our opponents, we like it, and if it's done to our friends, we don't.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why it's significant is because, like, former presidents have gotten in trouble, or presidents have gotten in trouble with the law before. Like, there's that famous horse speed ticket. I forget who it was, but like, there have been instances like this, right? Obviously, former presidents have violated the law routinely, both during their tenure or even before their tenure. Like George W. Bush was drunk driving, got caught, but that was before he ever became president. So did Dick Cheney, by the way, but that's besides the point. Anyway, so like, but that kind of stuff is like whatever. Grant was speeding with a horse. That's why he got like a couple speeding tickets with a horse. But never in the history of the United States of America have you ever had a former president get indicted for something. Even Richard Nixon didn't get it. So that's why this is unique.
Left have criticized the effort. This is a patently political prosecution, writes Jonathan Turley. A lot of reaction, obviously, pouring in from both sides of the aisle at this moment. The White House has been asked for comment. When asked, do you have comment? We don't. I believe that was the direct quote. So the White House is not weighing in this moment.
Yeah, why would they weigh in? Are you kidding me? Yeah, we do not comment on matters, so you can call us out as like blatantly moving the needle on an active, ongoing fucking indictment. Yeah, no shit. You know who shouldn't be speaking out on this, and yet he has? Donald Trump. Donald Trump regularly engaged in jury tampering by routinely fucking talking about the indictment before it happened. That is actually another fucking law-abiding moment for Donald Trump. Someone with that level of power and influence should not be able to just leak information that he was supposed to not be privy to because of some of the witnesses that were brought into the grand jury, in front of the grand jury, and then like openly stating that it's fucked up. Not illegal to talk about an indictment? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm not saying it's illegal to talk about an indictment. I'm saying that you could absolutely consider it to be jury tampering if you get information about an indictment that you are not privy to because some of your former lawyers or people connected to your former lawyers have access to information that the public is not privy to, and then you publicly blast the fucking jury on the timeline. You publicly blast the people and try to motivate a potential insurrection in an effort to stop this from happening. He literally said, go out into the fucking streets. Get out to the streets and go out and protest this shit. For the record, I don't think anything's going to happen. I just want you to understand, I am an incredibly cynical person. I'm just simply reacting to the news and laughing about it. But that does not mean that I think that he has a serious shot at being fucking arrested and going to jail or anything like that. Do not misunderstand me. This is simply for entertainment. Here's a thing that these fucking dipshits would say, regardless of the material conditions of whoever the perpetrator of any particular crime is, regardless of the low-level offenses that they might be serving a fucking life sentence for, these fucking dickheads in suits would sit there and go, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. But when it comes down to like one of the most powerful motherfuckers on the planet, who literally was the most powerful motherfucker on the planet until he lost an election because Joe Brandon stole it from him, they're like, dude, we need to do prison abolition. Our prisons should be obsolete, right? Like a bunch of Angela Davises. You never would have thought. You never would have seen it. You love to see it. You hate to see it. Doesn't matter. They're like, it is really fucked up that the criminal justice system is so gross and the carceral state is so inhumane. It's like, the fuck do you mean, man? What do you mean? It is for the fucking working poor. For once, we should have a little bit of fun. We should have a little bit of fun at the expense of like an actually powerful person who's done a tremendously shitty job as president. And not only that, but like will receive just a fraction of the outcomes. I wish that this was not done over the hush money for Stormy Daniels. I wish this was done over the RICO charges, the RICO case that's being developed for the past fucking however many years now with Fani Willis. She should be worrying more about her RICO case on Donald Trump for election tampering, which is a very valid case, instead of, trying to make sure that like everyone who's ever rapped under Young Thug's record label goes to prison permanently. Okay? How about you work on this shit instead? I wish it was over that. I wish this indictment was actually over that RICO case, because that RICO case is actually a valid one, a legitimate one, a genuine. Like that one is actually genuine. That one is actually a viable, valid, viable and valid RICO charge that he could be hit with, because he actually did do something that is criminal, and he should go to jail over it. This one, he's just gonna get a fucking light pad. He's gonna get a tap. He's not even gonna get a slap on the wrist. He's gonna get a little bit of this on the wrist. Okay, maximum he pays like a fine or some shit. It'd be really funny if they perp walked him for that. Also, he's rich. He doesn't
think that.
Here's the thing: rich people don't go to jail like fucking poor people do. Okay, he goes to jail or he goes to the fucking courts on his own time. So remember that. Do I think that Trump getting perp walked is gonna benefit him? Absolutely. He's gonna look like a bad bitch. But guess what? Ultimately, that's more content. Do you understand? There's nothing I can do about it. And I'm just analyzing it. I'm just laughing at it. Do you understand? And that's what your perspective on the matter should be. Do not take this super seriously. Do not act like this is going to end him or anything like that. We don't know. It's not very likely either.
Fox News has learned from 2 law enforcement sources that a grand jury in New York City has indicted former President Donald Trump. This is the first former president or sitting president to face criminal charges. The precise charges not currently known, but the case is focused on a hush money payment to a porn actress during his 2016
That's the funniest part, that they have
campaign.
to reveal the details every
This is a
single
moment
time.
that will shake up the 2024 race, but again, is historic. We've never seen anything like this before.